Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
With money on the line, featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Man, oh man, it is Thursday. One day closer to Sunday when Lions play. Woo. Same crew as always. Sam Flannel, my partner in crime with me. Are we both wearing flannel? Yes. I think we are. I had that flannel inspiration this morning.
You copied Flannel's flow.
I did.
It's okay.
I did. I need some of that. I need some of those hot takes, so I'm bringing it today. JB in the sound booth as always with the Burrow LSU jersey for tonight.
LSU Burrow for tonight. Shout out.
Shout out. And then Lucas Klotzludel's finest with the Dispo shirt on in
Shout
the
out.
TD booth holding it down. We will be.
I'm about to take it off though. I'm sweating my balls off.
Yeah. That's fair. Welcome everybody.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone in the chat, welcome. Don Beats says you Jack and Flannel style, Jeff. Yep, you ain't wrong, Don Beats.
Copy my flow.
Yeah, Jordan, welcome. Patrick, Mike G. Terry, Andy, Phil, everybody for joining the show as always. I know the first one in here, as always, you got a couple guys that are always first. So we appreciate you for joining the show. We started early today, all right? That's pretty good.
We beat the narrative.
We did. We beat the narrative. No, but we got a packed show for you guys today. A lot of Lions. Obviously, Dan Campbell talked to the media yesterday, so we got a lot of quotables from that. We'll be discussing. We'll have John Macaroon on at 8:30. The doc to kind of preview the game this weekend. Maybe talk a little bit about some of the additions like Bruce Irvin to the Detroit Lions. He'll cover that for us at 8:30. 8:45. We're talking Jameson Williams again because Dan Campbell and Antoine Randall gave high praise for the Lions wide receiver. So I want Sam Flannel to give his thoughts on that. 9 o'clock, Dan Campbell had some interesting things to say about the Chicago Bears. He kind of was putting some respect on their name.
He did.
And his quote was, "The tape don't lie." And he was referring to the Bears. We'll talk more at 9 o'clock. Are we sleeping on the Bears? I'll ask that question and more. And then, of course, 8:15, we'll go through some of the other things he talked about, which, again, the Justin Fields, he mentioned him, mentioned Bruce Irvin, and all that and much more. But right now, though, I do want to bring up a couple different things, updates. Vaitai is officially on IR, and I don't think he will be on the field the rest of the season. I think he's out, and he said it's due to the back injury he previously had. So it looks like you're going to have Graham Glasgow, who's already the starter. He's getting the full-time start. And to be honest with you, I see this as kind of the foreseeable starter for years to come. I think the Vaitai days are over with in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, on a human level, you feel awful for Vaitai because pretty much ever since he's been in Detroit, he's had a back issue. He's barely ever played, and that's the type of issue that can really linger with you for your life. So you never know if he's even going to play football again, but I just hope that he's able to live a comfortable, relatively pain-free life, and this doesn't linger with him throughout the entirety of his life because I know he's got kids, he's got a wife and everything. But on a football level, doesn't that just make the Graham Glasgow signing all that much more important? When you look at Graham Glasgow, you could almost look at it as almost as impactful, although not quite, as even like a Cam Sutton. Although the secondary needs Cam Sutton more than the offensive line needs a Graham Glasgow. But still, Graham Glasgow was that missing piece. No Vaitai, no problem, at least on a football level.
Yeah, Cam Sutton, he's that type of impact, but for about $9 million roughly cheaper.
Yeah.
He's making 2.75. It's crazy what Brad Holmes got Graham for, and he's playing really well. At least for this comment, too. And I saw this, and I was going to bring this up because we did poke fun at this specific player, Kindle Vildor.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to say something about that.
The man who made the Bears graphic, at least I think it was 33rd Team tweeted out, like, is this the best secondary in the NFC North? And they had Kindle Vildor on there. And we're like, what? Why is Kindle Vildor on there? He's actually a Detroit Lion now. Welcome home.
Bring him home.
Welcome home.
Bring him home.
Kindle Vildor.
Are we going to apologize for the erroneous I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, you know what? Who knows? Maybe he can make some plays here in Detroit, and of course you can put him on any graphic you so choose. I do not care. Steve Brown says, good morning and happy Friday Eve. Good morning, Steve. Welcome to the show. Jordan says, as Terry Foster says, they drive Mercedes too. Yeah, they do. And, of course, they got some new additions, and they got their starting quarterback back. So the Bears, I think, will look a little different than they have the last couple of weeks. William Rhodes says he won't be back in the NFL at all. Back injuries for big guys in the trenches are a death sentence. Yeah. And, of course, you never want to see that. But with his contract and on top of the injury history, I just don't see why he would be back, considering a couple things. You got Jonah, who's due for a contract extension, and you're assuming if they lock him up, they're probably going to bring Graham back too. So that should be the offensive line moving forward. They're playing great football, and I don't think they should change anything with those guys up front. The Booner Show joining the show. Shout out Booner. He says the Flannel Thursday show. Jeff rocking a flannel out of respect for flannel.
Good man.
Yep.
Good man.
See, we got into some heated discussions, and you know what? That's how I make up for it. We got a flannel on, so it's perfect. It's perfectly fitting. We'll see what John thinks of that. Mike G says, who wins an Oklahoma drill, baby Justin Fields or baby Kyler Murray? Shout out to Ryan, by the way, for the thumbnail. And I would go with baby Justin Fields. Got a little more power in his quads. You know, he's a little bigger. Even as a baby, he'd be bigger than Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I feel.
I'm actually breaking it down like it's a thing.
Yeah, it's Kyler. Although Kyler got his first W back, so you know what? It is what it is. Justin Reed says, I'm 5 minutes late. Did they start on time today? We did. We actually started at 7:59, so a minute before the show. We're going a little early today. I wanted to bring up this article that was written on LionsWire.com. And the reason why I put up this poll, it says, are you scared of Ben Johnson leaving? 3 different options. Yes, I'm worried. Yes, but the Lions will be fine, or not at all. And the leading vote in the poll is yes, but the Lions will be fine. I thought this article was super interesting because it was written on lionswire.usatoday.com, and the title of the entire article is Ben Johnson is the most coveted candidate in the next NFL head coaching hiring cycle. And I don't think anybody would argue right now with what Ben's doing. He's been so consistent. This offense has been incredible. They've been a top 5 offense every single year he's been here as the OC. And more than that, I would say he's the best OC in the league. I mean, you can put Kellen Moore up there and cool. He's going to be a head coach one day too. But Ben Johnson had the option. I mean, he had teams. He interviewed for multiple teams last year, and he came back because he wanted to see a playoff win in Detroit. But if the Lions do win a playoff game and they do have some sort of success in the postseason, Ben Johnson's going to get a ton of interviews. Every year, 5 jobs open up. And one of those jobs is going to want a guy like Ben Johnson to come in and have an interview. Now, if it's the right situation, that man's gone. And his resume is impressive. And they write in this article, and this is what Tom Pelissero wrote about Ben Johnson. He said Johnson coached quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends before becoming Detroit's offensive coordinator in 2022, giving him a good feel of the whole picture. And he should be even more prepared to run his own show after another year as OC. Many league sources consider Johnson the most coveted candidate in this hiring cycle.
I don't like that.
And you guys know my obsession with Ben Johnson. I got a man crush on him. I've had a man crush on him. And it does break my heart to even have this discussion because you like him to stay here, but at the same time, even for people you do love, you never want to, push for them not to take a promotion. Like, this man should take a promotion. He's going to be a terrific head coach. And you look at the head coaches that are having success in this league, Ben Johnson, and people will be quick to bring up, well, can he be a leader of men? Can he lead a football team? Guys, yes, but the other part of that is you look at some of these other coaches that are having success. Mike McDaniel, no one thought he would work out. I mean, everyone had that same question for Mike McDaniel. And I know, this year, at least defensively, they got some things they got to figure out. But Mike McDaniel's working out just fine. You see guys like Kyle Shanahan, who's had success in this league. You've seen, Sean McVay at being the youngest head coach at the time he was hired with the Rams, having success in this league. Ben Johnson's going to be that next guy. He's going to be the next head coach that in a couple of years, or maybe sooner than later, you're going to be looking at as one of the bright minds in football from a head coaching perspective. Sure. He's already the best. He's the brightest mind at OC, but he's going to be a damn good head coach, Sam Flannel. Sure, and then you even look at guys like Kevin O'Connell and Zach Taylor, who are also young offensive coaches who have had lots of success in the NFL. Yeah, let me just say this. If you're the Buffalo Bills, and you saw what happened in your game, and you might have saw highlights of what happened against what the Lions did to the Chargers, among many other great performances, but that was really, to me, the most masterful offensive performance of this Lions era. And you don't fire Sean McVay and throw a bag at Ben Johnson, you're committing malfeasance. Sean McDermott. Did I say Sean? Yeah. Sean McDermott.
Just so the people don't give you shit.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, Sean McDermott. if you don't fire Sean McDermott and then throw a bag at Ben Johnson, you're committing malpractice at this point. Because here's the thing. Ben Johnson is the type of coach that I think could go in and maybe fix some of the issues with Josh Allen.
Absolutely.
Create like more creative offenses. Maybe get the run game going. You still might have Stephon Diggs. Maybe that's the type of hire that can convince a guy like Stephon Diggs to stay and be happy. Maybe even get more out of guys like Gabe Davis, a young, talented tight end like Dalton Kincaid. On top of that, the Buffalo Bills, next year, they should be getting Tre'Davious White back. They should be getting Matt Milano back. They already have a ton of great defensive pieces on the defensive line, like Leonard Floyd, like Epineza, like Rousseau, like Ed Oliver. So if you're Ben Johnson, I think your next move is Buffalo, because even though all of the mistakes that the Buffalo Bills made in that game, they still would have won if they wouldn't have had 12 men on the field. That's coaching. That's
coaching.
100% coaching.
And Ben Johnson's attention to detail, I think, is one of his stronger parts of his
Yes.
coaching style. Like I would have full trust. I think he would be a great hire in Buffalo because he'd fix Josh Allen. He's done that. I mean, Jared Goff, when he first got to Detroit, was not the Jared Goff he is now.
Not even close.
And I'm not one of those guys that are willing to say all of it's because of Ben. I think Jared deserves a ton of credit for what he's been able to do. But you can't deny Ben and Jared. It's been a perfect pairing, and he's helped Jared Goff and raise his confidence level, implement things into the game plan that Jared Goff likes. And that's what Ben's biggest trait is too, besides the attention to detail, is creativity, and he listens to players. Like, that is a big part of this thing. And you look over at Buffalo, Sean McDermott, and they're trying to figure out things offensively. I'm with you. I think if Sean McDermott gets fired, which, we'll see, I think he should, Ben Johnson would be the first guy I call. The first guy. You want to go toe-to-toe with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes? You got to get the next up-and-coming bright offensive mind, and that's Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
So that's what I believe. Now, do I think the Lions will be screwed if he leaves? No, I do not think so. Would I be worried? Of course. Ben's a terrific coach. But Dan Campbell, I will give him this. He's great at hiring coaches. And by the way, the Anthony Lynn stuff, he fixed that in a couple of weeks.
Immediately.
He realized that was a bad hire. He moved on quickly. Dan is very, very good at assembling a staff. And I do believe even if Ben were to leave, Tanner Engstrand, hopefully you don't take him with you and be your OC, because that's the next guy right there. I'm telling you right now, Tanner Engstrand would be your offensive coordinator. But let's just say he does take Tanner with him to be his OC in Buffalo or wherever he goes. I trust Dan would find the right guy because he's shown that so far, Sam Flannel. He's shown it.
And that is 100% fair. The only thing that would make me a little bit scared about losing Ben Johnson, or more than a little bit scared, but not like DEFCON 3 or anything like that, is that I can't remember the last time that the Detroit Lions had a coordinator, particularly on the offensive end, that was this sought after. I do think Ben Johnson is an offensive genius. I do think he's a wonderkind. I do think he is. You could replace him with somebody like a Tanner Engstrand who might just be next, or somebody else, and Jared Goff would still look good. This offense would still look good. But Ben Johnson, I think wherever he goes, head coaching wise, it's going to turn around the offense immediately, and he's going to have a lot of success. So I don't want to discount Ben Johnson too much, but with what they already have in-house, with the offensive personnel that they have, with the culture, I don't think it would be just like a major downgrade. But Ben Johnson is special, and I think he really showed it against the Chargers.
And this is why, if Ben were a defensive-minded head coach, I'd be worried. That's why it matters more. Like when Dan Quinn was in Atlanta and had Shanahan, and Shanahan left, things took a turn.
Yes.
Sean McDermott, when he had Brian Dable, things took a turn. Like it's different when you're a defensive-minded head coach and you lose an offensive coordinator. Dan is an offensive-minded head coach, so I think it'll be a little different. I think Dan has a lot to do with the game plan each week. So that's why my confidence level is still very high. But I do believe with Dan's recent history, Lucas, I'm not as worried. Dan's capable. He's bright, and he does a great job of finding the right coaches. He does.
Yeah, and I think as far as like a coordinator spot, Detroit right now is the place you want to be. You know that you have the ultimate freedom. You hear the other coaches. You heard Kelvin Shepard last year when he was first brought in. I don't remember if it was last year, but that he was going to cut his hair, and Dan was like, the fuck you cutting your hair for? Like, just be you. And as a coach, that freedom allows you to go out there and just, you see what it does on the field. Antoine Randall, great coach. So you see that. I mean, Detroit's the spot to be if you want to be a coach that's growing, because the Lions as a whole are in that same avenue. And I wouldn't be too worried if Ben leaves. I would expect to see a drop off, but I think you just get that back over time, because at the end of the day, that chemistry is still there between the players. I think it'd be a lot like how Philly started this year, where you're like, oh, what the hell is going on? Like, you're trying to struggle to find their identity, but again, we have two really good running backs and a chemistry that's already built. So it could be a slight drop off, but again, nothing DEFCON 5, especially when you think we're going to need another draft class. We have another off season for Brad to cook, so there's going to be more talent there too.
I mean, think about it. From just being a Lions fan, when is the last time you've been able to say this? Like a head coach is going, or an assistant coach, an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, they're going and getting a promotion somewhere. Like, typically, this has been a place where assistants go to die. Now, that might be great for Lions fans because if Ben gets a job, someone else is going to look at the situation and be like, man, that guy just got a head coaching job being the OC for that team. I want that job. And there's going to be more assistant coaches. There's going to be a bigger pool from Dan to pick from. As of in history, where you'd have to beg somebody to come here and be the OC because they're in the back of their mind, being an OC or a DC here, or even a head coach, you think to yourself, I might never get an opportunity again. Or
Deuce Staley.
Yeah, Deuce is another one. He got plucked right off the coaching staff. I mean, Jim Bob Cooter was OC, and it took him a long time to be OC. And now he's been passing game coordinator. He's been all these other things. But it doesn't always, mean a promotion for these guys. But Ben Johnson it shows this thing is different. It really does. Yeah. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll bring up some of the things Dan Campbell talked about in his press conference yesterday. He had some interesting things to say, and we'll go through that and much more. But first, I got to tell you about Hamlin Pub because, guys, have you ever wanted to be at a bar where you're known as a regular? Well, Hamlin Pub is just that. You go there, they got half-off pizza on Thursdays or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games. Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live this Sunday for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market and Shed number 5, and it is going to be a bash starting at 9:30 a.m. until game time. Who has two thumbs and is going to be there? This guy. Yeah, so come say what's up. The official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame it with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, and entertainment all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com or win some from Woodward Sports today. Just subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on IG, and direct message Lions VIP.
Think maybe that you can get from an extra outside rusher like
well, look, you can never have too many rushers in your building. So, it brings a guy who, we'll just see what it is. He still certainly shows that he's got a quick first step. He's got power and he can bend. We'll see where it is. I would say, and there's been most of the games we played this year, our pressure has been very good. We're getting to the quarterback. And then we've had a couple of games where it doesn't. And I think we got to be careful that we don't, we're judging everything off of one or two times here. But I'll start with what I just said. You can never have too many guys that you feel like can affect the quarterback.
With Vaitai going to IR, do you expect him back at all this season? Or do you know what
That's hard to say. I think.
There you go, Dan Campbell speaking to the media yesterday, had some interesting things to say. Number one, commented on Bruce Irvin, called that man, and I want to quote him correctly, he's got superhuman genes. Dan Campbell referred to Bruce Irvin.
Some strong denim.
Superhuman genes. But in all seriousness, he said, you can never have enough pass rushers, which I agree with. Dan's spot on there. The other thing that about this defensive line, it is my biggest concern. Not against the run. They're a great team against the run. They are. But pressuring the quarterback is something they've been able to do, or I should say Aiden Hutchinson for the most part has been able to do. But getting sacks, it feels like it's inconsistent. They'll have 7 sacks, 6 sacks against the Raiders, and then not get a single one the following week after the bye week. So it's a little up and down. You'd like to think when they get Houston back, they'll be fine. But Bruce Irvin, it doesn't hurt to add another pass rusher. I'm excited to see what he's got left, if anything.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said yesterday, if you can get just a couple of sacks, maybe 2 sacks this season and 20 or so quarterback pressures from Bruce Irvin, that is 100% fine. And hey, if James Houston comes back in a couple of weeks or mid-December,
they need him.
Yeah, 100%, that'll be the guy that I think might be the actual bookend pass rusher to Aiden Hutchinson, which he was at the end of last season with his spectacular rookie season that he had. Yeah, this pass rush is a concern as of right now. It seems to. It's funny with the pass rush because they'll have some really, really good performances against some poor teams where everybody will get involved. Like the Raiders, Alex Anzalone and Ali McNeil both had great games. Aiden Hutchinson provided a ton of pressure. And then you'll go up against a better team and barely be able to sniff Justin Herbert, especially if you're not named Aiden Hutchinson. You get basically no pressure on him. So that is something that can't happen moving forward as the Lions go into the playoffs and consistently face good teams. But on the other hand, it is good, and I think it does bode well for this week that the Lions seem to take all of their opponents seriously, and they've done, for lack of a more respectful term, they feast on crap. They've done that very well this year.
Yeah, well, damn. But you're not wrong, Sam.
Yes.
And I think this is another opportunity for them to rack up the sack total. Pause. But for real, I do believe that. Don't clip that, JB. But I want to bring up what Dan Campbell said about the Bears. He called them a formidable opponent. He said the tape does not lie. He commented on Justin Fields. And I know we'll get into this more in depth later in the show about the whole, are you sleeping on the Bears? But just to talk about Fields specifically, he did call him I forgot the exact terminology he used, but essentially a weapon. And he's dangerous. He's dangerous when he's out there. I don't know, Lucas. I think his first game back, it's probably favorable for the Lions. In his first game back, he's missed a couple weeks. I think if he had a couple weeks to kind of try and get back to what he was doing, but his first week back here against his Lions defense at home, I don't know if it's favorable for Fields. I do not think so.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm listening to more of this conversation when it's later on in the season. We're at Chicago, especially because that gives him and DJ more time to get their chemistry going. Khalil Herbert's coming off IR, so that'll give him time to get healthy again. And the only way that the Bears could beat the Lions, in my opinion, is if DJ Moore gets loose. That's the only way. And I don't think Aaron Glenn is necessarily going to let that happen, especially after getting exposed to Keenan. I'm not going to say they're neutralizing, but I think they'll be able to limit him, especially with Justin Fields' first game back, to Jeff's point. So I could hear the conversation, but later down the road, not this week.
Yeah, and the funny thing is you mentioned DJ Moore. That's basically what happened in the Commanders game. Justin Fields obviously was very good and very sharp as well, but DJ Moore wrecked that game more than anybody.
Yes.
And that is, you're absolutely right. Especially with a secondary that has definitely had some shaky moments this year, you can't let DJ Moore get loose, but I'm not super worried about Justin Fields.
And they were just in a bloodfest against the Carolina Panthers. I win's a win, but the Lions put 42 on the Panthers and embarrassed them at home.
Sure.
Right now, per FanDuel, the Lions are 7.5-point favorites. You think they cover?
Yeah, well, if it's 7.5, yes, I do.
I think they could very easily. Yeah.
No,
I think they will, especially being at home. Yes.
What about the chat? You guys think they cover 7.5?
I'll put a poll up.
Okay, put a poll up. 7.5 right now. They're favorited. I believe it was higher, and then I think when the Fields news got announced, I think it kind of went down a little bit. I think it was like 10.5.
Yeah,
I want to say
10.5 to start, and then
so that's a 3-point swing. JB.
I mean, I'm still taking it. Hell, I'll probably still go back and take it at 10.5.
That's a little suspicious. Maybe they have more faith in Fields keeping this thing close.
I don't really know about that. I mean, Fields has been out there practicing. He had the glove on for one point in time, but then he took it off and said he didn't like the way it felt when throwing the football. So now he's practicing with basically like tape around the thumb.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well it's going to work out.
I don't know if he's doing 4 touchdown passes with that thing on. I'll say that. People are chiming in now. Already 90% of the people think they cover. Herb Nash says I took the Lions -8. Michael says it was 9.5. So it must have just kept going down, kept decreasing. Which, you know what, I like that. I like that. I think the Lions, they're going to put respect on the Bears. And Dan talked more about the Bears, and I don't want to give too much away because there is something I have to say about the Bears later. Because there's, to me at least, when you look at the Bears, there's a list of people you get to before you get to Fields. And I'll go through that when we talk more about the Bears in the second hour. Because personally, I'm not on, Fields is back. I think the mobility part of it, yes, he's an athlete. I get all of that. The Lions have struggled against mobile quarterbacks, but I'm not going to sit here and look at the season Fields has had. And again, he's been better, but he's not somebody. I mean, you've won against Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert. I think they can handle Justin Fields coming back from injury, Sam Flannel.
Yeah, and didn't the Bears score, and I know he was kind of beat up in that game, didn't the Bears score a grand total of 10 points when they came to Ford Field last year?
Yeah, the Lions whopped them.
Well, they dominated that football game.
I mean, and I get it. I was gonna say the Bears are better, but so are the Lions.
Yeah.
There's nothing, and I know we're gonna talk about it a little bit more later. Justin Fields, he's proven this year that he's not a good NFL quarterback. He can have his good moments. He's got a good arm. He can be accurate at times. He's obviously a very, very mobile quarterback, and when he scrambles, he can be deadly. But as far as playing the quarterback position, if I'm a Bears fan, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And I think he's kind of further validated that this year, that distrust that a lot of them had in him.
This comment, Doug says, I respect Bears when I run into them in the woods, but not in Chicago.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a bar. That's a bar there, Doug. Randy P says Fields throws at least 2 interceptions. I could see that. Andrew says Fields is a running back. There it is. We were waiting on that one. Bo Booth says Fields is not Justin Herbert or even Geno Smith. Well, I agree with that.
Like Zach Wilson tier to me. Like he can have a game where he gets hot and he looks good, but that next week looks a lot different.
That's a great point, actually. He's a lot closer to Zach Wilson than a lot of Bears fans are comfortable with admitting.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think he's better, but how much better? Zach Wilson's just so bad, and Fields looks so bad. I think the only difference is you would say Fields is a more explosive athlete, I guess, and he's shown more. I mean, he's had 2 4-touchdown pass games. I mean, Zach Wilson, how many has he had of 4 touchdown passes?
Probably none.
But still, it's not like this big discrepancy between the two. I'm with you, Lucas. And Funky says, I honestly think Fields would make a good Z wide receiver.
Rex, right, yeah.
We're already going there. Funky, that's funny. Lone Spoon 77 says double digits, not concerned with Chicago, not sure why people put so much faith in the Bears. Yeah, and you talk about that game last year, Sam Flannel, that they dominated them at home. They added Montez Sweat, they added TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, and DJ Moore. So they got better, but your quarterback still, Justin Fields, and your head coach is still Matt Eberflus. So I give the advantage Lions.
Yes, and the Lions are much better as well, despite the fact that 3 of the players that you just mentioned, definitely 2 of them, because Montez Sweat, I think the returns are too early, but I think he'll be good for the Bears. DJ Moore and TJ Edwards have been as advertised for the Bears, maybe even better. I'd say they're both having the best seasons of their career, but I don't think it's going to matter, because at the end of the day, as much as we want to, I would say, and I know we're going to talk about it a little bit more later, create scenarios in which the Bears could maybe be dangerous to the Lions. You are what your record says you are. They're 3-7, despite everything that they added. They're 3-7. Probably going to be 4-13.
Who on the Bears' defensive line is going to be stopping this run game for the Lions?
Nobody.
Not a soul. Montez Sweat can try. Okay, he's got arguably the best tackle in the NFL right now. I'm still going to put Trent Williams ahead of Penei for right now, but you got Penei Sewell to deal with. Yep. And then on the inside, you got Graham Glasgow, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, like the DeMont revenge game, like the Lions run game is going to go crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up because the people in the chat, by the way, you can get involved on YouTube, Woodward Sports. They're talking about David Montgomery and this being a revenge game. I'm all in on Montgomery on Sunday. Like he's going to get in the end zone. I could see him getting in there twice.
Yeah, so 2 touchdowns.
I can see him having a big game because again, kind of like the relationship David and Jameer have when Jameer had the big run to get in the red zone and David said, "Hey, go get the touchdown. You're good." I think Jameer is going to look at him this week and be like, "Go get it." You know, like this is the team that like go torch them. I think they're going to support David that way. Booner says crazy. The spread went from 10 all the way to 7.5 because of Fields. Is he that good to move the spread 3 points?
No.
I mean, is he not that much better than Badgett? I don't know. I don't know. Booner says, look ahead tease. Demont may be the Booner Legacy Player of the Week, 6-0. Yeah, Booner, I'm with you on that one. Demont's going to have a big day. I truly believe that. Let's go to break. When we come back, speaking of all this, we'll talk to John Macaroon about it. We'll get his thoughts on the Bears and some of the things that came out yesterday from that press conference and more. But first, we got to hear about our friends over at Premier Pet.
Of course.
Because the Lions are going to walk fields like a dog, so I just want to hear about Premier Pet.
And speaking of dogs, when it comes to your pet, don't settle. I don't settle when it comes to my golden retriever Jake and my orange cat Milo. Yes. Premier Pet's got all the food, the treats, the toys, everything that you need for a dog. You can even give him a bath. You can. I've done it before. Give your pet the best like I give my pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations. Over 60 brands of food, lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. Visit the website at premierpetsupply.com.
Jake's a bust.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Woodward Sports own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
How would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Centron Energy Drink It and Live It sweepstakes. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter for your chance to win. Register at drinkcentron.com/Vegas and buy Centron at your local Meijer store. It's Centron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself. Once again, that website, drinkcentron.com/Vegas.
Welcome back to the Woodward Sports Network, the Morning Woodward Show. We're back. We have John Macaroon on, and man, oh man, it's my favorite day of the week. John Macaroon joins us, publisher All Lions, and of course the host of the Detroit Sports Podcast. John, we can hear you, and welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
Oh, that's great. Real fast, I'm real impressed that Premier Pet Supply has so many locations in Metro Detroit. Always important to take care of your pussy cat.
Damn. Look at John right off the bat, dude, at 8:33 a.m. I love it. John, can I ask you, Dan kind of talked about it yesterday, but Bruce Irvin, the addition, can you speak more on that? And because we talked about it, and it was a cool graphic that Danny Bennett put out that, last season he had a pressure every 8 snaps. In this season, the second leading guy on the Lions who has the most pressures, John Kaminsky, has a pressure every 9 snaps. So basically, Bruce Irvin last year was a little more productive than any other player besides Aiden. But can you speak on the addition a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Check out All Lions. I just dropped about 20 minutes ago my feature interview that I did with him, one of the first media members to talk to him one-on-one. And man, I was getting Ndamukong Suh vibes from him right away. Real welcoming, a veteran that was just working out, really kind of thought maybe his time in the NFL had come to a close, but kept in shape. You guys said it. Dan Campbell said he's got superhuman genes. He's in good shape, but needs to get back into football shape. But he just talked to me about having that alpha dog mentality, that attitude of like, I'm not going to help out my opponent. If my opponent's on the ground, I'm just going to walk away. And he talked to me about his love of sacking the quarterback. He just told his wife last week, he said, man, baby, I can't find a high that is just as good as sacking the quarterback. He loves playing NFL football, and I think something that he told me that maybe is lacking with the Detroit Lions is that rugged, nasty attitude along that defensive line, that hunger, that just overwhelming drive to bring that quarterback down. Now, obviously, he's 36 years old, so I think his value is going to be more in that locker room, talking to these young cats about sacking the quarterback, life experiences, how to handle your business on and off the field. I think he brings with him a rugged attitude that I think this defensive line needs, because they're letting quarterbacks eat far too much. So while, yes, I do think that when his opportunity comes, he will have a little bit of impact. But I think that if he can take the likes of a James Houston under his wing, the likes of a Josh Paschal, and kind of get them producing at a higher level, that'll bode well for the Lions defense. Because you guys see it, defensive line needs to get their ass in gear and get going.
Ooh, John, you made me more excited about Bruce Irvin than I initially was. I mean, honestly, and that's why we love interviewing you. One of the many reasons. But let's talk about the offensive side of the ball, because I think personally that this offense had its best performance maybe I've ever seen by a Lions offense in my lifetime. So moving forward to come towards playoff time, and even right now, can this Lions offense be the best offense in the entire NFL?
Absolutely. And here's something to get more excited about. The Lions have been producing at a high level offensively without Jamison Williams. Imagine him 2 months from now, first round of the playoffs, knowing a little bit more of the offense, a little bit more confidence. I think that this offense gives a lot of people a lot of reason to be confident. One, it starts with Jared Goff, who, look, you even have a situation in which there's a little bit of chaos, and he checks into an audible, and it ends up being a 75-yard touchdown. It just indicates that Jared Goff and the relationship with Ben Johnson has really started to be fruitful. Now you get your offensive line healthy. You got a 1-2 combination with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. That's only going to get better. So I'm very excited about the potential of this offense, especially now against the Bears. I think the Lions could potentially do it again. And you saw with Jonah Jackson returning, the past couple games that he's been involved in, the Lions have scored over 35 points. I'm hoping that his wrist ankle situation doesn't linger and doesn't cause him to miss any time, because I loved that offensive line. Jahmyr Gibbs told me, we got the best offensive line, and the numbers bear it out.
Yeah, and that's no doubt about it. I mean, look at the run game, and I asked you this last week, and we didn't expect what we saw on Sunday. I mean, this run game is terrific, John. Not just the run game, but the duo now with Jahmyr playing at a level everyone thought he would play at when he was drafted. You got D-Mont back looking great coming off that rib injury. But your thoughts on the duo, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs? We said it. We think they're the best backfield duo in the entire NFL. Could you talk more about them now that they're both coming into their own officially, and what problems the Bears are going to have to face here with that backfield?
Yeah, it is interesting. The Bears feature, I think, the number 2 ranked rush defense, so they do have opportunities to they've limited their opponents in terms of rushing, but I think the Detroit Lions, when you look at it, they can play a lot of different ways. Okay, if you want to take away the run, you want to load the box, then Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to kill you. So, look, the Lions, they've said the vision of what that running back duo would look like came to fruition against the Chargers. You saw David Montgomery break one. He's that classic A running back that you give the ball to 20, 25 times. But at the same time, the evolution and the improvement of Jahmyr Gibbs has also been stellar to see. He's gaining confidence. And you realize, too, that Montgomery and Gibbs get along quite well. Obviously, after Gibbs had that great run against the Chargers, was able to cap it off with that touchdown. So you look at it and you say, these two work off of each other great. And we all talked about it. It's just like Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. And when you build an offensive line that is as awesome and productive as what the Lions have, now you can win in the playoffs. That's how you win. If you can impose your will, this is the secret recipe, is to wear down your opponent, and you got the 1-2 punch that can really allow Jared Goff to handle his business. And David Montgomery is going to come into this game really, I think, looking to show his old team, hey, you let go of a real alpha. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is gaining that confidence where he likes tasting the end zone and he likes getting the rock a little bit more. So this is perfect. As long as they stay healthy, the Lions offense featuring those two running backs going to be formidable.
Oh man, that all just sounds so fantastic. But while we're on the high of the Lions, I of course have to change this conversation to this. Is there anything about the Chicago Bears that you think could give the Lions any trouble this Sunday?
Yeah, look, I understand it's obviously the Lions are overwhelming favorite. I love the trash talk now between Amon-Ra St. Brown and his brother. If you go check out their podcast, they recently dropped it on the 33rd team. It was amazing. Equanimous is like, you guys are still the Lions. You ain't shit. And Amon-Ra's like, okay, man, that was great to hear the back and forth. I think the Lions are going to drop a hammer on the Chicago Bears. It's a division game. Dan Campbell has talked about the game really, in essence, meaning like it's 2 games. And this football team, you can see their motivation. They understand that if they win the division, the home playoff games really give them an opportunity to advance deep in the playoffs. They want to play in front of the crazy fans at Ford Field. It's a loud environment, almost deafening. You want to be able to have as many home games as possible. And the only way you do that is to win division games. They know, too. I think also what's going to keep the Lions motivated is the fact that the Vikings have started to win some games. So this Bears team is just another team in the way of the Detroit Lions meeting their goals. But with the Bears, they have a good rush defense. Obviously, Montez Sweat has been pressuring the quarterback. I do think that it would have been a more interesting game had their backup still been in the contest. But with Justin Fields, I think that the Lions now are going to want to seek to stop his ability to move the football via the ground. And I think if you can keep him contained, he is a shitty pass. He's a shitty pocket passer, and I think you can get to him. This is a get-right game for the defense.
Hell yeah, John. And one other thing that we haven't really touched on yet, you talked about J-Mo not really getting going in this offense yet as an extra layer, but what about Donovan Peoples-Jones? Do you think we, as Lions fans, will see his debut, and if so, do you think he'll actually get some legitimate volume, or do you think he'll just kind of get a couple 10, 12 snaps out there?
Yeah, look, obviously full participant on Wednesday. I think he'll make his debut. But I just think that early on, you got to look at it and you say, there's a lot of mouths to feed. You got to feed Sam Laporta. You got to feed Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got to feed the 2 running backs. I think where DPJ comes in is he's another deep threat option. He's another guy that can take a pass at 3rd down. I think early on, you're going to see him be targeted, but I don't think his productivity numbers will come and show until he's more acclimated later on in the year. But it's a good sign, man, to start against the Bears. DPJ brings a lot of interesting skill sets that I think Jared Goff, if they can build that chemistry quickly, I think the combination with him and Jamison Williams should allow kind of just open up the passing game just a little bit, because you can only dink and dunk your way so often against good defenses. You got to have that deep threat. Even if you just lob it up there and you throw it 15 yards past DPJ, it does give defenses just a little bit more pause as to what you're doing. But I think that DPJ signing low-key could be something that really helps the Lions moving forward, just to help out the offense be a little bit more disguised.
And, John, I think Dan Campbell should get a lot more credit for how well he does at assembling a staff. And I think he's done a great job of that. Even with the Anthony Lynn stuff, he moved on from that pretty quickly. And we talked a little bit about Ben Johnson earlier, because he will be the most coveted head coaching candidate for a lot of teams. What's your level of concern, or if any, for a guy like Ben? Because I believe, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but it should be Tanner Engstrand next if Ben were to leave. But assuming that Ben takes him with him, your worry level for a guy like Ben Johnson and how much he's meant to this team if you were to leave or depart this offseason, or do you think there's a chance he'll be here for the next couple of years to maybe chase a Super Bowl with the Lions?
I'm not worried at all, and here's why. Like you said it to start the question, the head of the table is Dan Campbell, and that's the offensive genius that has also worked in that room. You got to give him credit, the aggressiveness. Obviously, Dan Campbell has his handprints all over this offense. Yes, Ben Johnson deserves a lot of credit. He's a wizard play caller, definitely can scheme wide receivers open, definitely one of the brightest offensive minds in the NFL. He's going to be a future head coach, and a name that potentially a team that could also target him if they don't have success is the Bengals. You look at it, there's a handful of teams that are going to drop their coach, but there's also a handful of teams that are at that level where they don't take the next step. They also could move on, like the Cowboys, like the Bengals. Don't just assign Ben Johnson to the shitty teams. He could also be coveted by teams that say, you know what, we need that last piece to take that step from a postseason team to a Super Bowl team. So I do think he's going to move on. Maybe he'll even take Tanner with him, but I'm not worried at all. I think Dan Campbell can rebound quickly, target even maybe a Scotty Montgomery on that staff, or look to a young college assistant that obviously is a bright offensive mind. Dan Campbell is an offensive mind himself, and he understands offense and football, having learned from some top coaches. So I would not be concerned at all. This offense will keep rolling, and obviously the key thing is the marriage between Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. They're bringing in talent all over the place, and I think that the talent's going to keep coming to Detroit at a very high rate all the way through their tenure. So I think that this is a good sign. A sign of a good team is when the other franchises want to poach your coaches.
Yeah, well said, John. And last question for you. Some updates on some guys that maybe we've seen a little bit, but they're not being talked about a lot. A guy like Broderick Martin or Jack Campbell. Could you give us an update on kind of their development? I think Jack being the most important one, but even Broderick, we saw him out there against the Raiders. But just an update on those two and how they're progressing.
Yeah, it's interesting. And here's kind of how the Lions treat it. They want to throw a bunch of things at their players, even though they're going to make mistakes. Broderick Martin, very raw. But you start to see a little bit of what he can bring to the table. A large individual, athletic, but it still at times needs to work on his fundamentals and can get bullied a little bit. Jack Campbell obviously is going through his rookie season and having at times some struggles reading. And I think here's what the Lions are trying to do. They're trying to teach him multiple different spots along the defense, even seeing him rush. But at the same time, you're going to have to live with some of the growing pains. But having said that, the opportunities that the Lions are afforded is that his development will happen quickly. Jack Campbell is still a young player, but he's still going through some of those things that he's seeing for the first time. These offenses are operating at an elite level. Things that he's seeing in terms of disguises, eye candy as they call it, pre-snap motions, they can get really complicated. And so this has been all valuable. All the mistakes have been obviously things that he's going to learn from. I think he's having an okay rookie season. I don't think it's to what many maybe would have expected early on, but going into next season, the experience that those two will have had will definitely pay dividends. And I think Jack Campbell is a guy with the right mindset to eventually be the leader of that defense. But this year, it's all about, hey, you're thrown into the fire, deal with it and learn from it. And hey, despite all the issues that he's having, the Lions are 7-2. It's a great problem to have, and I think Jack Campbell and Broderick Martin will benefit from the way in which the coaches have taught them.
Absolutely. Thanks, John. You can find John. He's a publisher, All Lions, of course, the host of the Detroit Sports Podcast. You can get him on X or Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, at Detroit Podcast. Look at John taking the time out of his busy day to join the fifth best show on the network. We appreciate you, John, a ton.
Absolutely. Guys, check out All Lions. I'm in that locker room every day talking it up. It's been great. With a 7-2 record, the players are so much more happy to talk to a guy like me. I'm going to drop a Malcolm Rodriguez feature coming up soon in a couple hours. Bruce Irvin feature. Check it out. I do think All Lions is one of the sites that you can read and feel like you're in the know, and I appreciate you guys having me. Every Thursday, I look forward to it. Best part of my week.
Yeah, we do as well. Thanks, John. Let me tell you about our friends quickly about Planet Fitness, because Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anybody, and I mean anybody, can work on their fitness goals and feel comfortable. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You'll get all this for just $10 a month, no commitment, no matter where you are. There's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. We'll see you guys right after the break.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Come hang with the Woodward Sports crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
With money on the line, featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Fairway Packing Co. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Co. has provided Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop at Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks, or you can order online, of course, at fairwaypacking.com.
Get your meats.
Get your meats. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Let's get into Jameson Williams. They had some nice things to say about the young Lions wide receiver. The dynamic Lions wide receiver. And a couple of interesting points. And I want to bring this one up first because, again, a man that I kind of brought up yesterday, Danny Bennett, had another interesting tweet about Jameson Williams. And one thing that he noted, and he kind of put Jameson's snap count and listed it, he's actually played more snaps over the last couple of games. You look at his snap count, we'll just go back to versus Carolina. He played 28 snaps. And then against Tampa on the road, he played 16 snaps. We got a touchdown, by the way. And then he played 33 against the Ravens, 34 against the Raiders, and then 34 against the Chargers. So snap count over the last 4 weeks, he's been up in the snap count. Antoine Randall and Dan Campbell spoke to the media yesterday. Matt Broder, this is per Matt Broder, he tweeted this out. Lions wide receiver coach Antoine Randall highlighted Jameson Williams' energy and excitement despite a lack of targets. His selflessness is coming out. Colton Pouncey also put out, and this is from the presser from yesterday, Dan Campbell on Jameson Williams. He feels like he's one of the guys now. The more that he earns his stripes here, the more opportunities he gets. He's in a good place right now, and he's improving. Lions wide receiver coach Antoine Randall also talked about Jameson Williams' production, and he said, of course, moving forward, and he said, I think it's coming. It's just a matter of time. And then Ben Raven, who also covers the Lions, said a positive JAME article after talking with Campbell and Antoine Randall to start our Wednesday in Allen Park. And then Antoine said, he's improving. It's a good thing, man. We're proud of the way he went after it the other day. So Jameson Williams, man, getting a lot of love from coaches. And what that tells me, Sam, with the snap count being increased over the last couple of weeks, I know Donovan Peoples-Jones is coming in, but this is a good thing for Jameson Williams. This is kind of I know the stats, we look for the stats, we look for the production, but the stuff he's doing off the field, and he's doing everything he should be doing, and the coaches love it. So as long as he's getting confidence among people in the locker room, because him and Jared Goff just needs to trust him, and once he does, he'll get the targets. That'll come naturally.
I mean, we think. I'm just being honest. I hear about that this is going to be the week every week, but you know what? To be fair, it was the week in Tampa Bay, and I gave him a lot of credit for that. But yeah, with Jameson Williams, it's all about what he can do, what he can bring to this offense, not really what he has done. And I will admit it. I have been very, very hard on Jameson Williams, and I've probably come across as obnoxious at times. And I can understand it from one perspective, that the Lions are winning games, and Jameson Williams is having some impact on some games. To me, it's never been about J-Mo the player. It's never been about his potential. It's been about pretty much almost every other person at this network and seemingly every fan that just almost has like a parental style love for him. Like it's seriously, I think someday they're actually going to do a study on a certain type of mental illness, and that's what that's what the love for Jameson Williams as of right now has been at this point. It's almost been like a psychosis. Can't say anything wrong about that man, but like I said before, as I just throw in that dig that a lot of people aren't going to like, the Lions are winning, so it's okay. But Jameson Williams has not, I repeat, has not, despite what people want to tell you, been a huge part of it. So
just admit it. It's because he put McFlurry on his burger.
No.
Just admit it.
No, you know what?
He put a little scoop of McFlurry on his burger, and you're upset about it.
That's a J-Mo knock you can definitely give out. I'm a J-Mo supporter, but that's a J-Mo knock right there.
No, but what's up, Sam?
Okay, so
just get it out.
I really don't want to do this, but you know,
you don't have to do this.
No, I am gonna do this. I was all set today to have a very good Jameson Williams segment. I was just a very calm and civil one.
Storming the beach now.
But I had to be somewhere last night, and I was driving home. I decided to tune in to my favorite night show, Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. And their segment on Jamison Williams just had to be one of, and I love you, Booner, I love you, Broder, I love you, Nick, I love you, Jalen, one of the single most disgraceful things I've ever heard I've ever heard in sports talk. The way that they were talking about this man was just. Do you know what Nick in the sound booth had the audacity to say? That the Lions are 9-2 with Jamison Williams, which basically implies that he's had a big part in the wins last year and this year. I was told by you, Jeff Iafrate, they didn't play last year. Oh, actually, here's what he did. He played that one snap against the Vikings, got a touchdown, never played the rest of the year. Got that one snap against the Packers in which he scored and it was called back, but it actually counts in Lions fans' eyes for a super duper uber boober touchdown instead of just a regular touchdown, but it actually didn't count, and then he just went off the field. So Nick was talking about how they're 9-2 when he's actually played, and that his value opening up the field has made it so that Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta and Josh Reynolds and the running backs can eat, even though they were eating before him. But you know what? When he wasn't in there, but you know what? I will let that go. And then Matt Broder had the nerve, the gall, to say that Jamison Williams, I repeat, and please tell me that you guys don't agree with this. And by the way, he was unchecked. He was unchecked on this. Bruner, I'm ashamed of you. Nick, I'm ashamed of you. Jalen, I'm ashamed of you. He called Jamison Williams the #1 weapon on the team. On a team that has Amon-Ra. Think about this, guys. Think about this offense. And I want to be honest with you guys. I want to give this offense credit. Every single member of this offense that you expected to produce at a level has produced even at a level that is better than what we thought. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been even better than we thought. Sam Laporta has been a revelation. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, I had some doubts about them. Some of you didn't, but I don't think anybody expected them by week 10 to be the consensus best backfield in the league. Josh Reynolds has produced more than we thought. This offensive line, I think Penei Sewell has taken a leap into being... Like Neil Rule and guys like that are calling him the best offensive lineman in the NFL. I can't even necessarily hate that right now because at this point, he's right up there. He could be first team All-Pro. Why are we talking about Jamison Williams in such high regard? That's my problem.
Were they talking about him right now or his potential?
He kind of said he clarified on potential, but at the same time,
if he clarifies on potential, you can't be that mad about it.
And by the way, I wasn't gonna let that slide. By the way, when you brought me up, when you said what I said about last year. By the way, the only reason I talk about last year and he barely played is because Sam in 6 games he played 78 snaps.
Okay, then
it's about roughly 10 snaps a game.
But then he didn't.
A little over.
He didn't account for winning those games. Then
I'm not arguing that, but can you agree that last year that you can live by? He didn't do anything his rookie year. Well, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, in 78 snaps in 6 games. Unfortunately, Sam, he only had a touchdown and another one that was called back. That's all that's all the sample size I have last year, 78 snaps. So if you want to judge that accordingly, then go ahead.
Well, then I'm not going to let Nick Koloff get away with counting those as Jamison Williams wins.
Those meddling kids.
As Jamison Williams wins. Come on. That's ridiculous.
But this is why, and the coaching staff, trust me, like I appreciate what they're saying because they're compliment. This is, again, Sam, you would say something if they said, well, Jamo's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Like, it would be a problem. So when they say he is doing everything he's supposed to do and the teammates are finally trusting him, why is it still a problem?
Because he's not...
Like, it's like either way, there's a problem.
No,
like, they could have came out and said Jamo's been disappointing and you would have ate lunch today.
But
now that they're like praising him, you're still going to crap on the dude.
Guys, it's encouraging. It really is. It's not about Jamison Williams. It's about the noise. I can't take it anymore. It literally is like Jamison Williams is Detroit's native son or something like that. And I am the big bad meanie who can't say anything. Matt, he has 89 receiving yards this year. He has 130 in his career. You've got to see him do more. And people are already acting like he's this, like Matt Broder in the same sentence is like, he is the #1 weapon on this team. 2 receptions for 18 yards, that's fine. Not only is that fine, that's wonderful, that's perfect. He had that great block, and if you say anything otherwise, you want to run him out of town. That's the energy that I don't like.
What if, and Sam, this is why I really wish that touchdown catch didn't get called back, just because we have more energy. And the last one last year at Green Bay didn't get called back because I'd have more data. But Sam, would you still be saying the same thing if he caught a touchdown last game against the Chargers?
No, I would not.
Dude,
nobody, you don't.
He caught one.
You don't get credit. Touchdowns get called back all the time.
But you see the ability. That's why people are like frustrated because it's like you're denying the ability almost.
Yeah, that's you just said, Sam. You just said if he scored a touchdown, you'd be like, oh yeah, this guy, I've given him love. He scored, but it was called back.
You're like. denying the ability with his, like, you'll say, like, oh, yeah, he hasn't produced yet, and you're denying his ability to produce. And that's why people get frustrated, because there's tons of ability for him to produce. It's just so far, unfortunately, 2 of his biggest plays for his career have gotten called back by something that's not his fault. Sure. And that's why you see it off the eye test. You can see it. We've seen it before. Yeah. That's why we get frustrated when you're like, no, he can't do it. It's like, yeah, he can.
It's not that he can't. It's that he hasn't. I feel that's my thing.
But you're making it seem like he never will.
We don't know that.
But that's exactly though. That's why we get excited about Jamison Williams. It's like you're writing him off already.
Yeah, and our argument is you see the potential. Like this comment, who've-hearted. J-Mo has been in the end zone 5 times, and 3 of them have been called back. They aren't going to continue calling his TDs back at a 60% rate.
5 times? What are you talking about? He's not been in the end zone 5 times. He's been in the end zone 4 times.
Okay. And 2 of them, how many have been called back?
Okay, fine. But other players have done so much in terms of actually producing that you don't even remember.
But you can't compare. This is where you lose me, though, the Josh Reynolds thing. How long has Josh Reynolds been in the NFL? And how long has him and Goff they've been able to build chemistry?
Okay.
Like you cannot, that is apples to oranges, Sam Flannel. That is not the same player.
But rookie wide receivers, and I get it.
Compare him to Antoine Green. How about that?
What? Really? Compare him to Antoine Green.
You're going to compare this man to Josh Reynolds, who's been in the league for how long? 6 years?
Yes. Yes, so now you guys are okay with him being Antoine?
No,
I'm not going that level.
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying in terms of how much they've been involved. You're comparing them to guys that have a long history of getting used to this league and getting chemistry with Jared Goff or any other quarterback. Jamison has played in 2 seasons so far a little over 200 snaps.
All right, fine.
Give me another player that has 200 career snaps on the Lions. Go.
I can't tell you.
That's my point,
okay,
Sam.
Fine.
Like, you're comparing him to guys that have been in the league for like 6 years.
But guys,
give J-Mo 7 years, then we'll have a conversation.
And for the record, 7 years?
I'm just saying, if you want to bring up Josh Reynolds having a resurgence at 28, we'll wait till 28 then.
Man, 7 years. He's on the 7-year plan, and then maybe he
But you're bringing up Josh Reynolds. Okay, we'll wait then until he's Josh Reynolds' age.
Maybe by his 7th year, he can finally have a 60-yard
game. Well, don't bring up Josh Reynolds then.
I'm bringing up Josh Reynolds has produced this year, though. Oh my God.
But Sam, he's been in the league for 6 years.
I'm not talking about him versus J-Mo. I'm talking about how he took a leap, how everyone in that offense has taken a leap while Jamison Williams was sitting out and suspended. At some point, we have to realize that maybe we just don't need him. And that's fine. They're still winning. But I don't want to talk about Jamison Williams. I want to talk about people who are actually important to this team right now. I need to mention all the guys on the defense who are showing out, like Cam Sutton, like Alex Anzalone, like Aiden Hutchinson, like Brian Branch, like Kirby Joseph.
Like Aiden Hutchinson. You're speaking about defending blindly. That man, he needs to step up, by the way, Aiden Hutchinson. We love him. But you talk about defending blindly. You do that to Aiden all the time. You cannot deny that.
Aiden Hutchinson leads the team in sacks. Jamison Williams leads this team
So he's absolved from any criticism whatsoever.
No. I'm just saying that why are you comparing Aiden? Aiden Hutchinson has produced.
Well, if you talk about guys you defend blindly, I don't think there's any criticism coming out of your mouth for Aiden, huh? I haven't heard anything.
I said that he needed to play better last week. I did.
What happened Monday? Did you talk more about Aiden and how he didn't get a sack or what?
I did. We had this discussion about how this defense wasn't good enough, and Aiden Hutchinson, I can't just blindly defend him for that week. But to be fair, out of all the players who were playing on that defense, maybe besides Kirby Joseph, who had a big pick, Aiden Hutchinson was probably the best guy out there. Besides Kirby Joseph, who had a pick. Come on.
I don't hate it. I'm letting you guys
That's
know.
the only thing I bring up, Sam, is you act like when we defend J-Mo, we're defending him blindly. No, I see potential. We see talent. Like, it's not hard. You watch him play. Yeah, the stats aren't there. Speaking of stats, would have had a touchdown, but it got called back. That's a stat. It would have counted in his career touchdown mark, and he would have had one in Green Bay. But I get they're called back, but the point I'm making is it's not his fault. Like, you see it. My eyes do not lie, Sam.
Okay.
I see it.
But you know what I've seen with Aiden Hutchinson?
He has more talent than Reynolds. Actually, Reynolds has taken a little bit of a step back over the last couple of weeks.
Sure.
And who's been playing more snaps?
Jamison Williams.
And what does that mean? So we're going to question the coaching staff.
Well, and he also had fewer receiving yards last week than Brock Wright. I'm going to bring that up too. I'm just can all. There's angles we could all go with this. That's what drives me crazy about you, Jeff Iafrate, about you, Lucas Klotz, about the people in the chat.
Keep my name out your damn mouth.
You are acting like I don't have a leg to stand on. This man has 130 career receiving yards.
You have a leg to stand on, but then it's just you're writing them off almost. Like, I can take the criticism and be like, I am not happy with J-Mo right now. But to deny a player with that ability, just to say after 200 snaps, that his career, like, there's no chance for him to produce, I just think it's a little extreme, and that's why I'm like, okay, there's still a ton of Jameson Williams we have yet to see.
Well, and here, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. One funky Lions fan basically is saying that Hutch is Ryan Kerrigan. and for the record, wasn't Ryan Kerrigan a multi-time Pro Bowler?
But he wasn't drafted to be Ryan Kerrigan.
No, I get that.
Try.
I get that, but Jameson Williams wishes that he were the wide receiver version of Ryan Kerrigan. He would dream about that at this point. That's what I'm saying, is that, like, Aiden Hutchinson has led this team in sacks since he's been on this team. Jameson Williams has 130 career receiving yards. I get it, he was hurt. Then he got that suspension. But it's just, I think I have a greater leg to stand on blindly. Not blindly. I don't even blindly defend Aiden Hutchinson and praising some of the other people than Jameson Williams. He is not even in the top 25 of most impactful players on this team right now. Not even in the top 25.
Yeah, and that's... okay.
See... Like that's where I'm just like
And someone asked, and I want to make sure I get this question. Robert says, Jeff, can you clearly define your line for a bust? I will. My version of a bust is based on talent. Like, and production's part of it, but you look at some of the great wide receivers in this league, and Booner brought one up. We already mentioned this last week, though. There's other great receivers that didn't really get fully into form. Not everyone can come in and just be explosive right off the bat and have production. Sometimes it does take a couple of years, but for me to define a bust, I have to see you don't have talent. Like, Jameson, I will not admit that he has talent, 100%. But what if... And there will be a point where he will produce. I believe in that. So I'm not going to call the man a bust.
So if you
he missed, 60-70% of his rookie year, and then he missed the first 5 games, excuse me.
So if you have talent, you're absolved from being a bust your whole career. That's what you're saying.
I didn't say that.
Is Quentin Johnston a bust?
I didn't say it. No, not at this point.
Fair. Okay, fine.
Thanks for making my point.
Fine.
So my whole thing with a bust, Sam, it's talent, but also, like I said, when you look at other wide receivers in this league, Devontae Adams, who's a great example, guys take a couple years to get going. Like, not everyone can just be Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, these guys. And maybe he doesn't have that type of potential day one, but I think he will be talented. I still think there's potential there with Jameson. And that's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are, give me it now or he's a bust, and that is ridiculous.
And here's where I will kind of agree.
It's like the Penei Sewell thing. Remember Penei struggled a little bit his rookie year? And hold on, I'm not saying you, but people called him, he's on bust alert. Why is Penei struggling? Chill the hell out. Like, this is how I am with wide receivers, too. But Penei Sewell didn't miss 11 games and missed 5 games the following year. So there's context with Jameson. He's missed a ton of games.
Penei Sewell was a day one starter and never relinquished that spot.
But he was struggling, Sam. In the preseason, he was struggling. And there was an actual conversation, is he a bust or not? Like,
in the preseason.
But my point is, people jumping to conclusions about players saying they're a bust is ridiculous. There's some players. Some guys are like, yeah, he stinks. He's a bust. Jameson does not stink.
Are you sure about that?
There's a lot of noise with Christian Watson, too. And especially early in the season, like Christian Watson, I guarantee Christian Watson has more career snaps than Jameson Williams at this point. And Christian Watson is an extreme athlete. And I would say Jameson Williams is more athletic than Christian Watson. His whole thing was he couldn't catch a cold at first. And that was with Aaron Rodgers. And they're like, is this really the receiver that's going to help Aaron? And then towards the late season, he started becoming into an absolute weapon. And I don't think it's that far outreach to say if Christian Watson can do it, that Jameson Williams can as well.
He can do it.
Especially but you can see the ability that he has in order to do it. He has made Christian Watson like plays, especially against the Packers, like with Christian Watson on the same field. That was a Christian Watson type of play, and he can do that. You have seen him do that. If a flag doesn't get called, which I know that you hate, it doesn't count. So it technically does not count, but it does not mean that my eye did not see that.
Well, you got anything else? No, because we're going to go to break, actually. We're kind of over. Let's talk more about the Bears, because Dan, again, getting respect in the Bears, and I want to make a point about Justin Fields and where he ranks on what I'm maybe weary of, or not, I wouldn't even say fearful, but maybe where the Lions should be concerned and where I think Fields falls on that list. There's a lot of other things I think the Lions will get to before Fields. But we'll go to break. For right now, though, we get to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance.
Do you have football on the brain? Of course you do. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has been awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Just in time for football season, Glorious Cannabis is dropping their brand new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. Smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of our Detroit football team. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, dude, what are you waiting for? It is so smooth. You can find them at a Dispel dispensary near you for 25% off. Use code word Woodward Glorious and check them out online today at gloriouscanna.com.
Glorious! Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, guys. If you do me a favor, we're at 131 right now, like count on the stream. Let's get that up to 150. Let's try to. Appreciate you guys for joining the show, sticking with us. We're going to get to more Bears-Lions. Tomorrow will be more of a preview in depth about certain players, the matchups, and so on and so forth. But Dan Campbell put respect on the Bears. He did. And he said they're a formidable opponent. He said the tape does not lie. And Sam, this is, I guess, where I'm coming from with the Bears. Excuse me. When you talk about Justin Fields, when I look at the Bears and the roster and things maybe that the Lions should be concerned about, there's a lot of other guys or units I get to before Fields. I think you start off and you look at the weapons. What's funny?
Easy in the chat. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Okay. Shout's easy. You look at the weapons. I look at a DJ Moore. I look at a Cole Kmet. You look at the run defense. They're the best run defense right now, or one of, if not the best in the NFL. That's what the stats show. They just got Montez Sweat. He's actually been pretty productive over there in Chicago, getting a ton of QB pressures. But it's not even that, because I think the tackles for the Lions match up well with him. But there's things I get to. Then you can get to the secondary. They got guys in the secondary I do like. Jalen Johnson. They got guys over there. Who's the safety they got?
Jaquan Brisker.
Yes, Jaquan Brisker. Thank you.
Gordon.
Yep, Kyler Gordon, who they play in the slot a lot too. Mm-hmm. Like, they got some guys over there that I like in the secondary. And then I think you get to Fields, which is, like that's where I'm at with this thing. And maybe I'm just hating, but that's how I feel. I think Fields is kind of down that list. If you look at the offense, Khalil Herbert, your guy, has been playing well this year when he's healthy. That's another guy. But again, it's strength on strength. You're going up against the Lions defense, which is great against the run. But I would start with those weapons, Sam. DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet, who they Justin Fields loves him. Tyson Badgett loves him in the red zone. Those guys are weapons. Darnell Mooney, too. He can break loose for a 50-yard bomb. Those guys I look at first before I get to Fields. But certainly Fields' mobility is probably the biggest issue. But am I off on that? There's certain things I get to before Fields.
Oh, I mean, no, you're not off on that at all. Here's the thing about the Chicago Bears. They do run the ball and they stop the run well, at least by the numbers. And when you've played 10 games, that's a pretty good sample size. They do that well, but they are still 3-7. And of course, they have a lot of talented pieces. Like I said before, TJ Edwards is looking like one of the best linebackers in the league this year. Not even kidding. He's second in the NFL in tackles. He's been absolutely great. Tremaine Edmonds, not so much. You look at a guy like DJ Moore having probably the best season of his career, and he's had some really good seasons in Carolina. He has been spectacular for them. Jalen Johnson has turned into a true number one corner. Cole Kmet, if you stack up his numbers, they don't even compare that unfavorably to a guy like Sam Laporta. He's a very, very good tight end. They've got some players, and I didn't even mention Montez Sweat, who I would say is going to be good for them, and I would say he was pretty good for them in that Panthers game. I think he played a big part in them winning, just getting a ton of pressure on Bryce Young, although he did not get a sack. But when you talk about Justin Fields, as you said, Justin Fields has a lot of talent. He has had some good moments, but he's not a good quarterback. And you know how I know that? Because last season, this was the year in which he was thought of so highly that the NFL Network ranked him on the top 100 players list.
That was disrespectful.
And this isn't so much about his skill, it's about situationally, he is arguably the worst quarterback in NFL history. Did you know that last season, Justin Fields' breakout season in which he earned a top 100, the Bears were 1-7 in one-score games? Because Justin Fields is absolutely terrible in the clutch. If you look at earlier on this season, they had the ball down 3 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a chance to actually steal a game. He throws like a screen pass, pick 6 to Shaq Barrett. You look at the game against the Denver Broncos, in which he actually played very, very well. But then with them ahead 28-21, he fumbles. The Broncos return it for a touchdown. The Broncos actually go ahead a field goal, and the Bears with a chance to drive it down and at the very worst tie the game and make a field goal, he throws an interception because you can't count on him in the clutch in situations where he actually has to throw. He gets sacked way too much. Yeah. His record as a starter, even though he hasn't always been in the best situations, is 6-25. And I don't want to hear too much about his situations because this is the year where they spent money, where they got more weapons, where they got more offensive linemen, where they got more defensive help, and it just hasn't worked out. Justin Fields is not a good quarterback. And here's why, the other reason why you should not worry about the Chicago Bears in any way, shape, or form. Because if you lose this game, I'm talking to the Lions, it is an absolute disaster. We talk about them like they could be the number 1 seed, like they could be a Super Bowl contender. All of that talk should end immediately if they lose to the Bears, which is why they won't lose to the Bears. Any dismissal of the Minnesota Vikings being hot on their tails should end immediately if the Lions lose to the Bears. But they're not going to lose to the Bears. No chance.
Well, and I'm just asking a question. All talk of them being a Super Bowl contender would have to end. It didn't end when the Chiefs lost to the Broncos.
Okay, but this is
divisional opponent.
I understand
not
that,
a great team.
But the Chiefs also have a pedigree, and that was only their second loss. This would be the Lions' third loss.
Okay.
And as you know, the Minnesota Vikings are now 6-4.
They are. So you have to win games.
You got to win games.
I'm with you there, Sam. I know. Also, I think another week where you have the coaching advantage, which I think is more of a common theme now with Dan Campbell, which is great. Week to week, we said this last week, over Brandon Staley, he has the coaching advantage. I just think you have a better staff, you have the better coach, and this is the same thing this week with the Chicago Bears. Let's go to break because we're kind of over. When we come back, I want Lucas and JB's thoughts, and I want to talk more about Dan Campbell against Matt Eberflus and maybe some problems the Bears face. Toledo's finest.
They call him Flus.
Toledo's finest, they call him. All right, let me tell you about Big Boy, though, quickly. Winter time in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. If you get breakfast there, they got a plethora of options for you. You can top it all off with a new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Co., official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan-grown, family-owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers. Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co. has it all. Buy it, rent it, 0% financing, delivery to your doorstep. Just visit their website at outdoorequipco.com.
Talking Chicago Bears visiting Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions. We're talking maybe some problems the Bears pose for the Detroit Lions. And Aaron Richardson has an interesting point to what you said last segment. He says, are the 49ers not a Super Bowl contender because they have 3 losses in a row before last game? He's just asking, which I kind of agree with.
I'm just saying, would we all be like on our knees devastated if they drop a home game to the Lions?
Yes,
that's my point.
But to say that they're not, at that point, they're not Super Bowl contenders.
Let me rephrase. Can I rephrase?
Yes, of course, yeah.
You would probably, the best you could hope for would probably be the 3 seed at that point. And that's a big difference between fighting for the 1.
I think records right now, especially halfway through the season, are kind of wishy-washy, because if you look at some of the records around the NFL, like the Bengals are a lot better than the record shows. To your point, the 49ers, like, you can say what you want being the 3-loss team. In my opinion, that's still the best damn team in the NFC, because they lost it'd be like the Lions losing Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell for 3 weeks. What do you like? Nah, it's like, I'm not saying they would lose 3 in a row, but they'd be a definitely tough task.
Yeah, and I guess my whole point with it is that we are, and this is a hypothetical, that's the reason why I keep hammering home that the Lions are not going to lose to the Bears. I think they beat them by double digits. It's just that if they do, it would be such a humbling experience that we would have to kind of come back with our tail between our legs at that point. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't call them contenders anymore, but it would be a lot more difficult if you lose to the Bears. Because then would you expect them to then go beat the Cowboys at Dallas or even the Saints at New Orleans at that point?
I don't think it would change that much, just because that you have games that you sleepwalk into. But the fact that Dan Campbell is coming out in reports and saying that he respects this Bears team,
it's good news.
It's good news. I think there's going to be games like, to the point of the people, what they said, the Chiefs lost to the Broncos. Do you now expect them to go on the road, and if they had to play the Cowboys, would you expect them to win? Like, you really wouldn't change your opinion, because it's still the same team. They just had an off week. You know what I mean?
It would be a really bad off week, though, to lose to the Bears.
It would, but same with, like,
no one's arguing it. It would be bad.
It would be brutal, but at the end of the day, I'm not hitting a panic button over 1 week.
Well, John Martin says, I could tell these guys don't watch the league. Christian Watson is a bust. He caught 6 TDs with Aaron and hasn't done anything since.
If you say that and call Jameson Williams a star, then I can't.
He's saying that.
Yeah, what did you didn't even say that.
I was saying, comparing Christian Watson, how he's a very similar receiver with Jameson Williams as far as his skill set, and he struggled at first, but then when he had more reps, he picked it up through the season. And yeah, he's going to drop off when you go from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan fucking Love. I can tell you that much.
He was dropping a lot of balls too. I did forget about that with him. But regardless, William Rhodes says, only because it's a home game. If it was at Soldier Field, no biggie. We can't lose any more home games this year.
That plays into it.
And it's an NFC opponent, which also plays into it. Yeah. You gotta beat these teams. Not only is it divisional, but it's also an NFC opponent. That's 2 wins, essentially. And I think Dan called the divisional games basically 2 wins, because you're winning in your division and you get an NFC opponent, and on top of that, you compete for the number 1 seed. So I don't think you're far off, Sam. I just think when I first heard it, I'm like, I'd still have confidence in them, but maybe you'd just be extremely disappointed. And maybe you'd be like, depending how they lose, too. I think that matters, context. Because if they just get blown out, now we're like, what the hell's going on? Is Fields him? That would be that would be the Monday topic.
He would be an MVP candidate. You would hear that. Is Justin Fields an MVP candidate if you were to beat the Lions?
Easy's in the chat. I think his head would spontaneously combust wherever he was at.
Yeah, that'd be
rightfully so, though.
He'd probably have a blood clot passing through his heart like I did if the Lions lose to the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, Speak Easy said, Lucas already said what I was going to type. Goddamn, I am a proud papa.
All right. He came in. Did you see what he put in the chat earlier?
No.
His first comment is what I was laughing at, and he just came in on some weird energy, man. You need to chill out, dude.
Jake says the offense is solid at home, and I don't expect the Bears to be able to slow them down or be able to keep up with the scoreboard. Some of your expectations, Lucas. Anything like when you think of the Bears, what do you get to first when you look at problems that the Lions will have to face?
Cole Kmet.
Okay, so we agree.
I think Cole Kmet. I think
DJ Moore.
I want to say DJ Moore, but at the same time, it's Justin Fields. And
he yards after catch, just get him the football.
Like, I'm not denying, but I'm saying what will realistically happen. Like, I think DJ Moore will get like 70, 80 yards, but that's not like scaring me. If DJ Moore gets 70, 80 yards, the Bears are not winning the game. If DJ Moore gets 70, 80 yards and then Cole Kmet has 60, 70 yards, that's when I'm like, it could be a little close than people would like to do, especially if he gets in the end zone.
Yeah.
So I think DJ Moore is one of those players where I think he's going to do his thing regardless. So that's not really what scares me. It's that second guy. That's what actually kills you. That's Cole Kmet. On the defensive side of the ball, not a damn. I mean, Jalen Johnson, I guess, but I don't think there's a cornerback that can shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown with Ben Johnson controlling him. So I'm really not concerned with the Bears' defense at all. Everybody's like, oh, this Bear defense is a lot better. Who have they played in the last 3 weeks? Like, they haven't went out there and just, like, shut an elite offense down. And it's definitely not going to be this week.
And that's what the theme has been. Like, you look at the Chargers, the 6th-ranked run defense, allowing 89 yards per game. And then they face this Lions offensive line, and they get babied. Like, it matters, like, what offensive lines you're facing. And I think the Bears being the best run defense, like, yeah, it's awesome, but you haven't faced an offensive line like the Lions. And the last time they did that, they got decimated, the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Lions,
So,
yeah.
That's the 2 sample size games we have, or the 1 sample size
And the
game.
Lions, they have a good enough offensive line that I would trust them to go up against damn near any defense in recent NFL history and hold their own. That's how elite they are, especially now that they have their unit all solidified, all healthy. They're pretty much an unstoppable force at this point.
Rodrigo behind them throwing out blocks.
Rodrigo, okay. Speaking of, okay.
I won't go there.
I won't go there.
You had a good block on, I believe it was either Gibbs or Monty's first, or I believe it was Gibbs' first touchdown run. He had a pivotal block. He kicked out Joey Bosa.
That was very nice.
See, Sam don't care about that, though.
Where's that on the stat book?
Catch a touchdown, Rodriguez.
No.
Catch a TD.
No.
I think I am going to put a bet down. Before I sign off of FanDuel, I think I am going to put a Malcolm Rodriguez anytime touchdown at some point during the season. At some point.
Is that like a
if
ball?
They were throwing to Jason Kabinda at the goal line from time to time, I think they could do it with Malcolm. Both guys play defense, now converted to offense. I trust Malcolm catching the ball more than Kabinda at this point. And that's not, I'm just saying.
Imagine
by
like,
my eyes.
Imagine like first and goal. Just full back dive. Just give it to Rodriguez.
Dude, the stadium would erupt. Flannel, you would hate that. You would hate that. Malcolm Rodriguez would be like a Detroit, like that would be Tom Kennedy on steroids.
It would be like what, not quite to the level, but I always hated with the Chicago Bears that they lionize is a bad word because it's like the pun with the Lions, but they basically deified William the Refrigerator Perry. I hate that shit so much.
Yeah, well, in
the fridge.
Can you understand though that Rodrigo's like he's actually had a rookie year like playing well. Like we know what Rodrigo
is. He's produced,
and he has a 6th-round pick.
He has produced a hell of a lot more than any other 6th round.
I think Rodrigo is like one of those Lions players that like there's not even like slander to be had. Like he's just kind of he's a 6th-round pick who overproduced his rookie year.
But
like he's like the last guy.
I know, but in his 2nd year he lost his job, and I just simply pointed that out. I simply pointed that out. I may have said some more harsh words, and people jumped down my throat. People really,
you're gonna get held accountable if you're just throwing out Malcolm Rodriguez strays for no reason.
And then people tried to use his lack of snaps again as a flex. What
do you mean?
What do you mean? And they drafted a linebacker in the 1st round. He's playing over Rodriguez.
This wasn't supposed to be Rodriguez.
I don't know. I guess I'm just like thrown off by even like the thought of like I've never heard. Hey man, have you heard? Malcolm's been like.
What's Malcolm been doing?
Yeah, like it's just I think that draft pick's already a hit. Like the guy gave you an entire rookie year, and if you telling me if an injury happened right now and Rodriguez had to play linebacker, you would be, oh god, we're screwed.
No,
Rodriguez.
Of course not.
Then there you go.
Of course not.
He ain't no Will Harris, baby.
Yeah, no, hell no. Rodriguez.
No, don't even act like.
No.
Bro, what the fuck are we talking about?
Have you watched Rodriguez?
We might have to fight on the set.
Like I'm actually I'm confused. Did you watch him last year?
He was good.
I'm confused. What are you doing with the Will Harris thing then? What are you doing?
I'm just saying that Rodrigo has gotten so few snaps this season. He can't beat out noted all-proer Derek Barnes and all-time great rookie Jack Campbell, right?
Chill out.
Oh man,
you're 2 for 2 on the stat.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, Booner's right. Rodrigo gives you depth. Yeah, he does.
That's what you expect at the maximum with a 6th-round pick.
But Sam's treating him like if Rodrigo comes in the game, like he's a complete liability. Like that's a little ridiculous.
No, he's basically a slightly better Anthony Pittman at this point.
Oh no, he's way better.
Come
than
on,
Anthony
is it really that crazy?
Let's go down your avenue. Let's look at the numbers. Let's do it right now. I'll send it back to you guys for a second while I look up the numbers. But let's.
No, I got him. I got him. Let's because I'm curious too. I mean, he had almost 100 tackles.
I'm
his
not
rookie
talking
year.
about his rookie year. I've given him credit for that.
But you like guys that have produced in this league.
What did Anthony Pittman do in his rookie year?
I'm not talking about that.
You said he's a slightly better Anthony Pittman.
I'm talking about this season's Rodrigo is basically last season's Anthony Pittman.
Flannel.
They're not the same player.
When did Anthony Pittman ever line up on offense once?
No, but like even let's just talk linebacker. Like I mean. you have a 6th-round draft pick who had almost 100 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, a couple pass deflections, and almost had a pick. I think it was the Buffalo game I was at. He almost had a pick in that game. He dropped it.
Yeah.
He dropped it. Like, it literally, but great rookie year from a 6th-round pick. But Anthony Pittman, let's check it out.
All right, okay. I was
a
little harsh on
that. Was egregious.
Pittman has 27 total tackles in his career.
I was wrong on Anthony Pittman. I kind of threw that out a little flippantly. I'm just saying that. Okay, fine. I will get on the stand.
It's just like a weird. It's like a weird stray. Like out of anybody you could choose, Rodriguez. Go after Will Harris.
Go after Anthony Pittman.
Yeah, go after what?
Here, Malcolm Rodriguez has been less impactful on this team than Jamison Williams. I made the Jamison Williams.
I mean, by the snaps, yeah.
I made the Jamison Williams.
I don't hate you for that.
Guess.
I don't hate you. J-Mo caught a big touchdown in a big game. I don't hate you for that comment. But to act like the man's a slightly better Anthony Pittman, my lord.
All right, I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. Wow. But he also has, I think 10 tackles this season.
But
he doesn't,
I think Sam, I think where you're coming from is you see, he has 10 tackles, so all of his ability just went away.
No,
which I think that's not how that works, Sam. Do you realize that?
I'm just saying that this season he has been a lot less than his rookie season. I get that they don't need him, but if he were really as good as a lot of people were claiming he were last year, he would get some snaps over Derek Barnes. That's all I'm saying.
No, Derek Barnes, it's as simple as this. Derek Barnes is just playing better.
I know, but he's Derek Barnes.
Derek Barnes was a 4th-round pick that was expected to be better, that's been in the NFL for 3 years at this point.
All right, fine.
And they're definitely going to try to maximize his ability on his final year of his contract.
Malcolm Rodriguez is a special teams guy now. That's fine.
That's what we're saying.
And
what he is doing is perfectly fine. That's why there's no reason for slander.
I think we were just coming at you because you were throwing strays at him. I don't know. I don't know. It just took me off. I just was off guard by it.
Are you going to attack Jalen Reeves-Maybin?
Yeah.
He was a 3rd, 4th-round pick. He's been in the league for 5-6 years, and he's probably putting the same amount of effort on special teams as Malcolm. Both of those guys are studs on special teams.
Yeah,
so, you can't be what are we doing?
It's like if Donovan
Dorsey.
It's like if Donovan Peoples-Jones takes Khalif's spot, he's gonna be like, well, Khalif hasn't made an impact on this. Just because you get I don't know. That's how you're still good. He's still. I'll like Malcolm still, just because someone else playing better than him.
All right, fine. I
don't want you to say, well, you guys are blindly defending Malcolm Rodriguez. It's just.
I guess you guys have parental feelings towards Malcolm Rodriguez.
No, see, I knew that was coming. We gotta hate the guy, or we just.
No,
I don't know.
I'm not saying hate him. I'm just saying just admit that he's not really that big of a factor on this team.
This year, yes, you're right.
Good.
But that's not. That was not your.
Don't act like that.
No, don't act like that was your whole premise there. You took that and took a left and a left and a left and a right and a left.
But I've also said that his rookie year was very, very good. It was.
We could have started and ended with that one, All
right, fine.
See what I mean? It's literally the legend killer. The legend killer is fitting. It's very fitting. He just kills Malcolm Rodriguez out of nowhere.
Legend killer. The false equivalencies in the chat are just so mind-boggling. I can't even read them at this point.
Okay, let's go to a break. When we come back, we'll get into those false equivalencies because I kind of want to hear what Sam has to say about that. All right, but first we got to hear about our friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Guardian Alarm defense.
Malcolm Rodriguez.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who've been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Malcolm Rodriguez slander. Stay out.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Join Braylon Edwards and the Dispo Dispensary family at their Hazel Park location on Tuesday, November 21st for their Thanksgiving turkey giveaway. Starting at noon, Dispo will be giving away Thanksgiving turkeys over the course of the day. All you have to do is purchase any product from Dispo Hazel Park on Tuesday afternoon, and you'll receive your turkey available while supplies last. Dispo Hazel Park is located at 634 West 9 Mile Road in Hazel Park, Michigan. Pull up, re-up, and grab your bird for Thanksgiving dinner.
Grab your bird. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show, and we're having some conversations. We certainly are. Sam, you had some problems with. Let's get into it. What's going on?
I'm not gonna read a bunch of stuff in the chat because it's only gonna make me mad. Basically comparing Malcolm Rodriguez to Patrick Mahomes losing against the Broncos. That's what George Eagle said. Have the same energy, and so many people in this chat, and I know you're trolling, are just gonna eat it up like porridge or something. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom. Because I'm gonna get it right up in ya. Yes.
It has been announced per Yahoo Sports, Dan Campbell will not be taking the Texas A&M job. So everybody in the chat is like, oh, well, the money. Nope, it's officially been dead. No more Dan Campbell Texas A&M propaganda. Put it to rest.
Yeah, that was the most ridiculous thing ever spoken in the history of spoken things. I mean, that whole report, too, was just a clickbaity headline. That's all that was. There was no way in hell.
It's like Bron leaving Cleveland. That's what that would feel like.
Again.
Okay, maybe not that extreme.
No, that extreme.
Yeah, Dan, I think you said you would be furious if Dan were to leave.
If Dan were to leave for Texas A&M, I'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah, because he's not.
I would be. Yeah, that'd be the biggest sellout move in Detroit history, probably. And I love him to death because he's obviously not doing that. But it would hurt me. It would hurt me more. The fact, go get your money, but it would just hurt me because it's like, damn, we're right back to where we started, most likely.
So
unless they promoted Ben. That'd be good.
That's exactly what I was going to get at, too. Follow-up question. Would you be upset if he left, but Ben Johnson stepped up in that head coaching job place?
I would be completely okay with where the Lions would be, but I would still have a lot of disdain for Dan Campbell. God, I feel really weird talking about this.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Let's just move on from this conversation.
Because that Ben, I don't know. That's not a hole I don't even want to do it.
Yeah,
I'll have the
move on.
Yeah, that is not the hole I'm trying to crawl into and bury myself there. Shot says Mahomes can't even win without Kelsey. Well, that's I don't know about that one. Shot, just taking shots.
Worst person in the chat by far. No! He calls me every name in the book, and I just have to be like, I love you, Shot. I love you. I love you. I love you.
God.
Come on, bro.
Do you have that clip?
Thank you, Shad, for coming in and being a part of the show and basically spewing your nonsense and your idiocy. Thank you, Shad. Thank you.
No, Shad is very valuable.
You guys are like a divorced couple.
Yeah.
Well, not even a couple that I want to be. Married couple about to get divorced. Still having to live together. Gutting it out.
Chuck Brewer says Shad is the man.
Well, Chuck Brewer, you're gonna get the same treatment soon.
No.
Aldo. Chuck, I really liked what you had to say about Michigan yesterday.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Oh, gosh. All right. Yeah, people are chiming in here. I tell you what, we got 2 minutes left. We might as well just go to break and we'll get right to What's Trending with Lucas. Let's just do it. Let's do that. We'll get to What's Trending with Lucas. We'll chop it up, of course, and then get your questions ready. Maybe we'll have an early mailbag, so we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Feldman.
Oh, okay.
Let me do Feldman. Because I missed it earlier. Let me tell you about our friends over at Feldman, guys. 18 locations. There's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest to you, because since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. Catch Woodward Sports Live from Feldman every other Monday. We'll be there this Monday recapping a Lions victory over the Bears.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want want to miss it. Join Maz, Dick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White & Associates offers. It's called the Minute-by-Minute Listing Agreement by Mark White & Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Wow, what a show. We're having a blast here. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Brunner says we should do a stream with just Shad and Flannel in a room. Shad donated $5 just to say, I'm more valuable to Woodward than Sam. Facts, no stats. Sam?
Thank you for the donation.
Yeah. All right,
Will
Lucas,
you take the high road, Flannel?
Lucas, it's 9:40. You know what time it is, everybody. Check your watches. Check the clocks on the wall. Lucas, what do you got for us?
And shout out to JB over in the sound booth for signing me. This is a 4-minute clip. We're not watching the whole thing. Do not worry. But Dan Orlovsky, he holds it down for the Lions on ESPN. He did a little film breakdown on his Twitter and signed kind of some interesting things you got to check out on there.
Let's hear it.
All right, so Lions offense, I think it's one of the, if not the most detail-obsessed offenses in football. 3 plays real quick. So the Amon-Ra perimeter screen for a touchdown. Couple things matter. One, I love when righty quarterbacks throw perimeter screens to their left. It's just an easier throw because the ball's angle-wise coming from there. I don't like them when a righty quarterback is throwing them to his right. So I love the play call situationally. Number 2, you obviously kick this motion and you get all these guys throwing this way. Another blown coverage situation, it looks like, for the Chargers. But when it comes to Amon-Ra, 1 step forward, sit there, wait for the ball. Now, the ball's thrown where it can kind of lead him upfield. Would I like it to be a little bit higher? Yes, but lead him upfield. Number 2, really good job by the point receiver, Reynolds, going out right now to his defender. Left tackle, Decker. You got to go track number 1 on the inside. Now, it's huge right here, patience-wise, by Amon-Ra St. Brown. So often, guys will, run themselves into a tackle. Watch his patience here to let Decker get out to his block and hug that block. We call this the sidewalk on these perimeter screens. Run up the sidewalk, which is basically the very top of the numbers. See how he just chases that, chase that block to get away from those inside guys. Fantastic job. Again, obsession with the details. That's
because it will take up half the segment. But the Lions offense right now, and Dan went on ESPN, and we're going to put out a graphic here in a little bit on social media about how he thinks offensively, specifically, the Lions are the best coached team in the NFL. Do you agree with that statement, especially with your king over in Kansas City and Andy Reid? But I can't hate the comment because when you think about head coach, offensive head coach and Dan Campbell, and then offensive coordinator and Ben Johnson, I don't know if there's a better duo in the NFL right now.
Yeah, from a head coach and OC perspective, I agree. I know Andy Reid, he's the OC, so those guys are.
Andy Reid's a better coach than Dan Campbell.
Yeah, but to your point about the head coach, OC combo, ever since Ben took the job, this offense has been buzzing, and they haven't really took a step back. I mean, there's been lapses. There's been games where maybe they've struggled, of course, just like any offense, but they've been one of the more efficient offenses in the NFL. So I think there's truth to that.
Is it bad that I wasn't quite ready to go there until the Chargers game? They were still obviously way near the top, but that Chargers game was their masterpiece. And
who you had over them? Kansas City?
Probably Kansas City. Philadelphia.
I can't hate you for that. Philly, Philly, I wouldn't have agreed because their offense, especially at the beginning of the season, looked kind of rough, which you would expect.
Yeah.
But I just think the Lions, they've been very consistent. But I wouldn't hate you for having Kansas City there.
I think Shane Steichen leaving, I would give the edge of the Lions.
Yeah,
because
that's
Shane
my point,
Steichen,
too.
I think, dude, he did a great job last year. He did. Cheese It says, Jeff, what is you and Lucas's last chance parlay for tonight?
Oh, we
didn't
cook that up right now?
We could do like one leg each, like we do a 2-legger. Like you give your best bet,
no,
I give mine.
I already know this is what I'm going to do for mine.
Then read it.
You can.
I'll give the approval. I'll just my thoughts on it.
Okay, so I have Joe Burrow, 225, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 60 yards. Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown. Joe Mixon, 50 yards. And Lamar Jackson, 25 yards rushing. Not taking a money line.
Ooh.
I'm going to put 15 on it.
Wow. 225, 2 TDs for
Burrow. I might even increase because there's no Marlon Humphrey. Jamar Chase could go. This is going to be a Jamar Chase nuclear game.
I think so too.
I might even put damn near 80 on it because the odds are going to be crazy.
80?
They're not going. He hasn't had he had a touchdown last week, but he hasn't been like touchdown heavy this year.
Wow.
No T Higgins. I might live bet a Tyler Boyd touchdown on there too, but I think Joe Burrow goes crazy tonight. At least 2 touchdowns for sure.
Booner goes, this man Lucas goes out with 100 plays on a parlay and says, why do I lose my parlays?
That's fair, but that's why they all make sense.
I know it does make. I mean, you got Joe Burrow 2 TDs, 225. So Jamar Chase 60 TD, and then Lamar 25 yards rushing.
Yep, Joe Mixon 52,
and then Joe Mixon 50. So you're heavy on the Bengals tonight.
I might do Joe Mixon 40.
I like the 40 better.
We'll do 40.
But I don't. Flint Town says Mixon versus Baltimore D? Question mark.
Yeah, but they're going to be their box is going to be so light because they have no Marlon Humphrey, so they're going to be worried about Jamar Chase the whole time. So the safeties are going to be back more. They got to worry about giving up a deep shot. So there's no way that they can just pack the box like they have been doing at least as much.
No Gus Bus, TD.
Whoa! He's had so many. Like, there's going to be. I know if I bet it, this will be the week that he doesn't get it.
I don't mind it. I like it. I typically, when I make parlays, I'll do the TD score separate, but for just a fat parlay, make a ton of money, you got to have some TDs in there. So you have Jamar in there.
I'm going to do some straight bets. Definitely live betting Keaton Mitchell anytime touchdown. Keaton Mitchell plus 25 yards. That's going to smack. I don't understand why they keep going away from him. Keaton Mitchell's a fucking demon, bro.
Wow, he
has like Gibbs speed.
Yeah, Keaton Mitchell, they got to utilize him more, man. They do. He gets 1 carry, gets a TD, and never touches the ball again. That's the Keaton Mitchell show. The people are kind of iffy on it. You know, they're a little scared. This is Lucas's last chance parlay. It's like the last dance. Like, this is like
all or nothing.
Like you're retiring to go play baseball. Like after this, like you're done. Like the Michael Jordan route.
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe I'll go gamble for a little bit, make some money, and then come back and win another ring.
Play baseball. You know,
yeah,
you're gonna go gamble.
Fair.
All right, that's fair. You got anything else for us?
Let me check for 2 seconds. I feel like I did. Oh yeah, Draymond Green. So in case you guys haven't seen already, Draymond got in a little altercation, and now it has resulted in a 5-game suspension for Draymond. I don't really know why Rudy Gobert was the guy that he was going after there.
He's still mad at him about COVID.
I don't blame him. I could see. I wasn't too mad when I saw that Rudy Gobert was the guy getting choked out there. But is 5 games too much, too little? Is it exactly what it needs to be?
The league now is just different. I mean, what Draymond did, it's a scuffle. Who cares? Just move on. Like, I mean, I get they have to suspend him. The whole thing was just they'll call it an NBA fight, whatever that version is. Just a couple pushes and maybe a headlock, and that's it. Like I'm a little different on suspending guys for that. To me, it's just competitive dudes going at it. Whatever, you pull them apart, move on. But Draymond gets 5 games. It's dumb, but Draymond, they also factor in history, and Draymond has had a history of getting suspended for things. So of course they up his suspension. If it was like Clay or anybody else, they'd get like a game or 2. But yeah, it's Draymond, so of course they treat him differently. I just hate this thing. Is so stupid. I just think personally,
it's not stupid. Draymond Green should have got 10, as far as I'm concerned.
I fucking knew it.
And for
never threw a punch.
Okay, but he also, for no reason, choked out Rudy Gobert. And a lot of people, especially guys like Spencer Raxter on Big D Energy and heavyweights, basically act like Rudy Gobert did something to deserve it because they don't like him. Rudy Gobert didn't do anything. Draymond Green is a menace. He punched his teammate last year. He was nut kicking people. He stepped on a guy on I don't remember who it was in Domantas Sabonis last year. He is a menace right now.
He stands on business.
He's a Hall of Famer. And then guys like Neil Rule are just like, he's from Saginaw. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Draymond Green is a menace at this point. I can't stand that guy. I hope he manages to get himself suspended out of the Hall of Fame at this point. Get out of here.
Yeah, I guess for me, I don't really
had a
care.
disdain for Draymond like that.
I really don't like Draymond Green.
I don't really. Well, he's a Michigan State guy.
No, it's not Michigan State. It's the fact that people act like he gets treated like too harshly. I think people go easy on him. Steve Kerr's afraid to say anything bad about him in public. He's soft on Draymond Green. Never disciplines him for anything. He's not the player that he used to be.
Well, yeah, he's like 5-10 years older than what he used to be. But I've always been a Draymond fan, man.
I like Draymond, but I just think objectively, this is how I think. If it was anybody else, I'd still feel the same way. Like there's no punches thrown, and you give him 5 games. Like I guess the only thing that I guess you can make a case for is his history. But other than that, the NBA, and I love the NBA, but it is soft now, dude. Like I don't know. If Draymond was punching people, I would agree with you. Suspend him. But a headlock, I mean.
Oh my goodness, Shad. Rudy really didn't do anything for real. Thank you, Shad. I appreciate that. People are acting like Rudy Gobert went up to Klay Thompson and like choked him or something. Draymond Green, there was no reason for that. And people are defending him like he did nothing wrong. Draymond's a menace and he has a past history and he gets away with everything.
Well, clearly not. He just got suspended.
Fine, should have been longer.
Okay.
More! I want more!
Yeah, I don't know. Like a headlock, like, I don't know. I'm a little different with that stuff, I guess. That's just
and
how
now
I feel.
I'm salty with the dumbest comment of the year. I'm not even going to read it. I'm not going to dignify that with a response. Can't criticize anybody anymore.
Sam just hates him because he's from state.
No.
Oh, up more?
Sam hates every black athlete from Michigan that swallows Hudson.
All right,
I'm salty. Now you're going there.
That's not true.
I don't know. That's a little ridiculous.
I'm salty. You're a fucking loser for that one. I'm sorry.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, Sam's staying on business now. I can't hate you for that one.
Yeah, that's dumb. I will say that. What do you think, JB? I mean, Lucas. What do you guys think? Like me and Sam are a little different on this. I just think the NBA's some of this is just ridiculous.
I mean, I'm really not. I do not care about the 5-game suspension. Like, it is what it is. I just like Draymond. I think these moments make sports fun. It's not like he's actually going out there and hurting anybody. It's not like he was actually going to choke out Draymond Green. Some guys just.
You think Rudy feared for his life?
Probably for a second when he realized that Draymond had him. But then, I don't know. Maybe Rudy was about to do something and Draymond was just trying to be the big brother and protect everybody and just take the L.
Try to be the big brother.
I'm throwing out situations.
Yeah, I mean, he was clearly trying to just protect. I mean, he was protecting Klay.
Yeah, it's not like he just saw Rudy Gobert and saw red. It was just like Rudy Gobert.
Yeah,
like,
it was a big thing. Rudy came in with Klay. I get it. Just taking up for your teammates. Hey, what do you think, JB?
No, he was just defending his teammate, and I respect Draymond for doing this. At least, I mean, honestly, I feel like all of us in this room would do the same for each other as well too. If someone came in here and started choking someone up, of course, you're going to step in and help your brother out there on the field. So I got to commend Draymond on this. He was just stepping in, helping his fellow teammate, and, 5-game suspension is whatever. I do feel like Rudy Gobert's comments afterwards saying that, Draymond obviously has to get into a fight with someone when he sees Steph is not playing. So I don't like that, but whatever. It is what it is. No one really likes Rudy Gobert as it is. So
I like Rudy Gobert. He's a defensive player of the year. He was a multiple time, he's a walking basically 17 and 15 for a few years there. I'm just saying, I like Rudy Gobert.
You think he's a little bit overrated based on how much he's paid? That's where I that's where I start laughing about Rudy Gobert.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
but
I don't think he's a bum, but he's overrated.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, Rudy's interesting. He got a huge contract. I mean, this year is his first year. He actually looks like he fits with the Timberwolves. The last couple of years, man, before then, it's been weird. But you know what? Who cares? Who gives a damn? But thanks, Lucas, for that. Let's go to break. When we get back, get your questions ready. We'll try to get to as many as we can. But first, Sam, can you tell us about our friends over at Lady Jane's?
Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, where I get my A+ haircuts from the A+ stylist. For an award-winning haircut experience, register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA Tourney. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays to join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
With money on the line, featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. Les Stanford, Chevrolet, Les Stanford on 9 Mile, or excuse me, just south of 9 Mile on Woodward Avenue. Yeah, that was bad. That was a Cintron. That's what that was. Check out Les Stanford Dearborn today. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com.
Check them out.
Check them out. Let's get to mailbag. People chiming in already. Steve Wild says Buzzcut thinks he's the coolest man alive.
Did he just call me Buzzcut?
Yeah, Steve Wild just has a personal issue with you. I don't know why.
Yeah, he always Sam Nutt rides Mahomes, LeBron, Anthony Davis.
Well, he has a personal issue with me, I think, too. But it's okay, Steve. We still love you. Let's see. Let's get to
hate fuels.
Let's get to some other questions here. Eduardo says, mailbag, Sam is right in almost all scenarios. If Detroit, Philly, and San Francisco finish with the same wins as Detroit ends up a 3rd seed based on NFC wins, we're going to lose a game. It needs to be Denver. Yeah, that is true. You got to win because it is an NFC opponent, so that matters. It really does. It really does. They were coming at you for your Rudy Gobert love over Ben Wallace. Because your first thing you brought up was the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Which Ben has 4 of those.
And Ben does have 4 of them. And Rudy Gobert has a couple as well. I'm not saying, to me, they're...
And Ben has a ring, by the way.
That's fine. That's fine.
Forgot to mention that.
No, that's fine.
I got his bobblehead just for good luck against Sam Flannel every morning.
No, I'm not saying that Rudy Gobert is a better all-time player than Ben Wallace. I'm just saying that people act like Rudy Gobert is complete trash and soft, and Ben Wallace is the hardest man to ever walk the face of planet Earth. I disagree with that.
He might be one of. He's a scary man.
He is pretty scary.
He's a scary man. Scary. I wouldn't want any.
He's pretty scary.
I'll tell you one thing. You think Draymond would do that to Ben Wallace? No way in hell. No.
Flannel, stop.
Flannel. No, okay, fine.
You think Draymond would get Ben in a headlock, dude? I think that'd be the last day Draymond lives.
Rudy Gobert does have some offensive advantages because he's 7'2". He actually averages double-doubles. That's fair, too.
Cool.
Which Ben Wallace has never done.
That doesn't fit my narrative, Flannel.
Yeah, that's cool. Jake says, I was just typing that, Jeff. Yeah, no way in hell he would do that. All right, let's get to some mailbag. Doug, mailbag, if the Pistons trade Cade, would we be a playoff team or would we win the whole damn thing? Well, if you trade, yeah, Doug, if you traded Cade, you'd be set back for 5 more years. So we don't want to do that. We do not want to do that. Let's see. John says, I do love Sam. He stands on everything he says against the mob of Jeff and Buzzcut Boy. Well, there you go.
don't call him Buzzcut Boy, though.
It's fine.
Shad, mailbag, serious question. What is a Lions Super Bowl matchup that is most likely going to happen? No KC because it's too obvious. I would say a sneaky one for me, and I know this sounds crazy right now, but I'm so stubborn. I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say the Bengals. They're going to sneak in.
I thought you were saying the Jags.
No. I have the Bengals and the Jags in the AFC game, and then I have the Bengals beating them.
All right, we're similar.
So that's how I have the Bengals and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. That was my pick before the season. So I'll change it, though. I'll go Bengals-Lions. That'd be a good matchup. Zach Taylor tried to pull Ben Johnson over there to Cincinnati. How great would it be if Ben just cooks the Bengals offensively, and he looks at Zach Taylor and just gives him a wink? He's like, could have had me. But I stayed here, and I'm going to cook you. That'd be mine. Lions, Bengals would be a lot of fun.
I mean, if I can't say the Chiefs, according to Shad's rules, and I'll actually follow Shad's rules, I'd go with the Bengals and the Chiefs, I think, are in kind of a tier by themselves when it comes to teams you fear in the playoffs. With the AFC, there's a lot of teams that are just unproven. So I would say the Bengals.
I see Aaron says Dolphins, Lions. That'd be a good one.
I don't see the Dolphins.
Well, just
not this year.
As a matchup, it'd be exciting. But yeah, I don't think the Dolphins are making it that far. I don't. You see Jesse's parlay he put in there. Let's see, mailbag. You guys like this parlay? Moneyline, Edward TD over 1.5 field goal. What the Jesse? This is like, and he always hits these too. Like the weirdest part. Over 1.5 field goal. Ravens. Andrews over 29.5 yards. Boyd over 19.5. Bateman over 26.5. Mitchell TD plus over 36.5 yards. What the?
I don't know if I like Mitchell TD.
Live bet Mitchell, and I don't know about betting on Bateman.
Wow.
At least not 26.5.
Yeah, that's intense. Who farted says the AFC is wild. So many really good teams that aren't going to even win a game in the playoffs. Yeah, I agree with that. Mike G, flannel sack. Sam, how many TDs for JJ on Saturday?
I'll go 3.
Okay, Boogie, mailbag. Sam, is JJ McMid a first-round pick?
He's not mid, and he is a first-round pick. It wouldn't shock me if he gets picked higher than even guys like Penix and Jaden Daniels, just off of potential.
Wow.
Have you seen mock drafts lately, bro? It's not crazy.
Penix is, in my opinion, it would be wild to take McCarthy over Penix after this year.
And we'll see how it plays out.
Same with Jaden Daniels. Like, if you want to talk about potential, Jaden Daniels has potential more than McCarthy at this point, in my opinion.
I mean, at this point, and he's shown more, but to act like J.J. McCarthy isn't talented, which I'm not saying you're saying.
But if he's not drafted in the first round, he can still be talented. I just think first round, and quarterbacks with a fifth-year option, they favors them going in the first round. But I don't know. When I hear people say, like, I think Braylon said this one time, like, I don't know if JJ's a first-round pick. I don't think Braylon's hating. I think he's just,
And by the way, K
Boogie,
Boogie, because you're not listening, I did not say that J.J. McCarthy is better than Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels might win the Heisman this year. J.J. McCarthy is not going to come close. I'm saying as a prospect. That's all I'm saying. Anthony Richardson was shit in college and was a top 5 pick. And I'm not saying that to compare. I'm just saying that you don't have to be an all-time great college player to be drafted high. But you're not listening. Because a lot of you never do.
Oh, my gosh. Big Dan Davis, mailbag. How should the Lions D attack Fields? Bring a heavy pass rush or try mid, contain him in the pocket? I think you're right. I think you're spot on, Big Dan. I think that's got to be the game plan, is to contain. And they've been doing...
Send the dough.
They've been doing that. I mean, the Ravens, it was bad, and he was able to kind of be, he was able to move outside the pocket. But, yeah, I think containing Fields and blitzing him a ton because he's not great under pressure. And that's something I think the Lions fans kind of know from watching Justin Fields match up with the Lions. So I think that's got to be it. I would be like, you know what, DJ Moore, we're going to put Cam Sutton on you. Jerry Jacobs, we're going to put you on Darnell Mooney. And we'll put, Brian Branch on Cole Kmet, whatever it is. And then we're just going to send the house and make JJ McCarthy, make Justin Fields beat you. I don't know if his first game back he'll be able to handle all that on the road and win, but we'll see. No, we'll see. They got to get home. They got to get sacks this week. I mean, you got to get 4 or 5 sacks this week, I think.
4?
This has got to be
amazing.
This has got to be one of those games where I think you get them in bunches. I believe. I mean, you got 6 against the Raiders. You should be able to get 3, 4 against the Bears. You should be able to.
I can see that.
All right, we'll get out of here. Thank you guys for joining the show. We appreciate you. The Morning Woodward Show. You guys know what time it is. Tomorrow we'll be previewing the game more in depth. We'll have a lot of fun doing that. We'll give our score predictions, so on and so forth. Again, rest of the programming for Woodward Sports. Big D Energy coming up 11 to 1, and then you have Ermanni and Edwards with Maz 2 to 4, Heavyweights 5 to 7 p.m. They just had Herman Moore on yesterday, so that was big time. Shout out to those guys. And then Woodward Nights 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. You close out your night with those guys. Appreciate you guys, man. Have a great one. Thank you for everything and your constant support. Before you leave, hit the like button. We're only 17 away for 200. Let's see if we can hit that 200 goal by the time we get out of here. Until tomorrow, guys, we'll see you. Appreciate your presence.